Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Dylan Silver, and today on the show we have Shawn Brown in SoCal, Southern California. And Shawn is the founder and CEO of California Lending Group, and his new startup, Mortgage Maker AI, leads a team dedicated to equipping mortgage loan officers with innovative software tools. Shawn, welcome to the show.
Dylan, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. At the top of the show, I typically ask my guests how they got into the real estate space. Was it in your blood, Shawn?
Absolutely in the blood. So I come from a family of entrepreneurs. And I started doing real estate. My mom was a real estate agent actually when I was a teenager. And so I got to shadow her a lot and see the business. But I had the opportunity to work at a real estate law firm when I was 20. And I scaled up there to become a manager of the firm eventually. We did default servicing work. But I wanted something for myself. You know, I think we've all been there, and a lot of real estate professionals and investors also can resonate with this. You know, when you're working for someone else, you're not really, it's hard to be passionate about that.
Yeah.
And so I knew that it wasn't for me, but I gained a ton of knowledge about the real estate space at the firm. And then I spent about a year deciding what the heck to do. And we used to send business to a gentleman called Dino. His name's Dino Katsiomidis. He owns a mortgage lending company. And I loved the guy. I loved speaking with him on the phone. I was really interested in what he was building. And so I called him one day after, a few months after being out of the firm. And I said, hey, Dino, I'm looking for a transition. I'm interested in mortgage lending and I'd love to come work with you. He had just started his own firm. And he said, yeah, look, that's great. I like you, but I can't have you here. We're too busy. We're not really set up for it yet. And I wouldn't take no for an answer though, right? So I had someone mentor me that, hey, you got to go find somebody at the top that's doing big business and shadow them. And I just banged down Dino's door, man, for like a good month. I just kept going back and back. You got to have something. Maybe somebody else can work with me eventually he told me, okay, you can work with this other guy at the firm and, go ahead and shadow him. And I was there for about a week trying to shadow, and the other guy was busy. And Dino and I start to build a relationship, and eventually Dino agreed to let me shadow him. So I was by his side for 6 months straight, just learning every aspect of the business. And that's what then catapulted me into where I am today.
So Shawn, interesting background. Did you study law or did you go into this field with a unique interest in that area of things?
No, I didn't. It was a referral. Somebody had mentioned that there was an opening at a law firm. It was actually my mom knew somebody that was at the firm, and I was looking for something in the real estate industry, and the stars just aligned, and I got hired, and I just fell in love with the real estate industry.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So curious, and maybe selfishly on my end, I've heard about real estate law firms. There's so many different areas, and then you also have some firms that are general practice, but that also do real estate law. Were the attorneys at the law firm that you were originally working for and managing, were they in court all the time dealing with tenant issues, or was it, creating trusts? What were they doing at the law firm day to day?
Some. So when I started, we were a consumer-based law firm. So we were helping folks litigate foreclosures, short sales, bankruptcies. We were facilitating deed in lieu. This was back in the '08 crisis, so there was a lot of default servicing work that was going on. Interesting though, I worked on the consumer side with the firm, but halfway through we pivoted and went back into default servicing. So we worked for all the big banks, processing foreclosures, short sales, litigation, deed in lieu, short sales, from the legal side. But yeah, attorneys constantly showing up in court, appearance counsel, needing to be there for the hearing, but it's kind of boring, right? There's not a lot that goes on in those cases.
I have a lot of respect for any type of attorney that shows up in court. It can be kind of brutal, right? Something like most of the attorneys. I spoke with an attorney yesterday or the day before who does trusts, and he was telling me most of the attorneys that graduate law school don't usually go to court. They're not going to court. They're working corporate. They're doing contracts. They're working through other issues other than showing up to court. A lot of respect for that. So you're doing that, and at some point in this time period, I can imagine you see the foundation. You see, okay, I really understand just from osmosis real estate contracts. I understand kind of the intersection between law, real estate, and how people are making money. So you got the bug from the real estate bug from that exposure, and then from there you go to your friend who's a mortgage broker, and you're saying, hey, show me the game here. How do I get in? And you're basically willing to do whatever you have to do to go work over there. So then you get over there. You have your experience in the law firm. You're brand new to this mortgage space. And what's the next 3 to 5 years look like for you?
So yeah, you nailed it on the head, right? When you're mentoring with someone, you do whatever they say. And part of the mentorship was, hey, you need to go build a business, a book of business, and a referral-based business. And so he had me cold calling and time blocking my entire day out. So every hour was accounted for. Amazing things for business growth. And so, it's funny though, I looked back, all of the cold calling that I used to do to try to go drum up business never really led to anything, but it sharpened my skills. And this is something that I share a lot with folks is it's not always the activity and the effort that leads to the immediate result, but sometimes it's downstream effects that come. And so, right, sometimes people get discouraged by not having an immediate result, but if anything, you've just sharpened your skills a little bit so that when you do get the at bat, you're stronger. And so there was a lot of that in the first 6 months, but eventually things started clicking and I started growing organically in my market. And so the position was that I always wanted to own my own lending company. And he knew that. And so it eventually, probably about 4 years in or so, I came to him and we had a meeting and I decided that I was going to go start my own entity. And so I split. We're still best friends. I love Dino. I owe a lot to that man actually. And so I started my own lending company, and based off of everything that I had learned, and then we've now just continued to grow year over year, doubling every year. Even in these harder, these past few years have been difficult, but we're still continuing to scale and doing big things.
So you're going from one industry in law to mortgage. Is it a totally different mentality that you had to have at that point in time, or because growing up seeing your mom in the real estate agent, you had all the skill sets to prospect and to be successful from a sales standpoint?
Yeah, so interesting. Before that career, when I was a teenager, I used to do car sales and did a ton of sales training, and that's where I
Okay.
got my foundation for.
Which make? I worked in sales too.
Did you? It was a company called Tustin Chevrolet. They were out of
Okay,
Norman,
Chevy
Portland.
store.
Yeah, Chevy store. Yeah, I loved it. I was just built. I was built for it. And
How
so,
long did you? How long were you slinging whips for?
man, probably, gosh, a good 3 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, a good 3 years.
yeah,
And
that'll teach you.
as a kid, right? I mean, I was able to make, five, $10,000 a month consistently, and I'm a teenager, right? I mean, it was like I was blown
Crazy.
away. Yeah. So
Yeah, I had a similar experience. Ultimately, my last stop was Nissan. That's when I decided to get into the car business, and I decided to get into the real estate space. And it got to a point where I was maxing out as much time as I could possibly spend in the dealership. Margins were getting slimmer and slimmer, and then it became a survey-based business. People were getting the salespeople were getting paid based on the survey, not so much the car itself. And so for me, that was kind of when I realized I don't know if I can do real estate at all while working 12-hour shifts here. So any car dog, Sean, I have a soft spot in my heart for. So I always love to hear people come from the car business. But fast forward, you're at the mortgage broker working with your buddy. You have the car sales experience as a backdrop. You have the legal and real estate as a backdrop as well. So you think, okay, I've seen and I understand contracts. I have the sales experience. I don't necessarily have the experience with, finding mortgages for people, but let me see how this process works. In the beginning, was most of your day to day about prospecting and reaching out to people, or was a lot of it about learning all these systems that are in place as far as finding and securing the best loans for people?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
it was 50-50. Yeah, a ton of it was, and what, one of the benefits of having a mentor is you have a point of contact that you can go to when you get into a tight spot. Realtors could relate to this by having a broker, right? They've got a broker that they hang their license on and they can go to for help. And you hope that you get a good broker because you're going to run into a lot of pain in the first 1-2 years. You're getting your sea legs about you and you're learning. And so it was a lot of that. I remember it was a lot of I shared an office right next door to him, and so I'd open my office, and I mean, God bless this man, right? He opened
Yeah.
up his office for me and allowed me to have that contact with him. And so anytime I hit a roadblock, I'd put the phone on, put the call on hold, and I'd go, "Hey, Dino, what did I do here?" And he would walk me through, and so it was comical, and a very patient man, and I'm very blessed that he allowed me to do that. But I had also the foundation from the real estate law firm. It
Yeah.
was it was incredible, and it has allowed me to become an incredible advisor for my clients because I understand the real estate arena from end to end, and I
Yeah.
can give them guidance on many different areas, and so it creates. I'm a trusted advisor in the industry, and a lot of folks can lean on me for help if they ever experience any issues regarding real estate.
What was growth like working with Dino? At some point, you're getting more clients. You're building a book of business, just like you would in any avenue. At some point in time, are you realizing, okay, I'm doing well. I'm going to go. I've outgrown what I can do here. I need a team underneath me. Let me go and make my own team. Was that the thought process? And also, working under a broker, I'm imagining sometimes you have the ability to have teams underneath you. Was that something you thought of? Hey, let me just make a team underneath me, and then you decided to go your own way.
Yeah, 100%. So it felt similar to what I had at the law firm, right? That feeling of just wanting something that you own.
Yeah.
And there's all these benefits that come from being the owner of the lending entity that you can't really see initially. But there's a lot more there's many more relationships that get created. There's a much more greater opportunity for relationship building when
Yeah.
you own the entity. And so there was something of that I desired that I didn't have. Now, I operated my own business inside of his business essentially, so it was my own, but I wanted something more, and that's why I pivoted.
Okay, so you're at this point a brand new business owner. Had you owned businesses prior to this? Had your own ventures?
No, I had not, little odds and ends, but nothing serious. No, no corporations.
Okay, okay. So this was a huge step up. At this point in time, what were you feeling like? Did you feel like, okay, I was in AAA now, now I'm in the big leagues, now I'm fighting with the big dogs? Or at that point in time, were you like, look, I've been doing this already. It's just my own thing. What was your sentiment, your mind state at the time?
Yeah, well, to become a lender, it takes about 6 to 12 months. So it was just paperwork for the initial, yeah, a good 6 to 8 months of just constant paperwork. They look you up, down, and sideways if you want to become a lender in the United States. And so that was pretty intense. But I am a tenacious individual. I've got a ton of grit and a high level of work ethic, and I was built to do this business.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. It takes a lot. If it were easy, everybody would do it. And there's a huge barrier to entry from that standpoint. What was your question? Go back a little bit.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
No, yeah. So when you were starting to develop your own business, right? Were you feeling like this is a totally new pursuit for me in a sense, both because you're a new business owner and also because now you have to do everything on your own. There's no one else who can really bounce ideas off of directly within the office? Or was it like, oh no, this is old hat, I'm just doing it on my own now?
No, it becomes exciting. So there was excitement because now it was something that I owned and I could stand behind. When you're in an organization, you have all these ideas about how you can improve and how can make it better. But so does that entity. And so
Right.
I now could unleash all of the creative ideas that I had in my head on how to operate a next level business. And it's not to take away from anything that everybody else is doing. It's just that we all have our own unique ideas on how to run a business, and so that it was excitement. Now it was something that I could own and control and scale and start to test some of these ideas I had about what the market was looking for.
Yeah, I think it's a really unique experience to be in charge of your own destiny, right? Now, when you were working in the other capacities, I'm sure some of your pay was based upon how the goals that you met and so on and so forth. But being the owner and then talking with people who are owners of businesses on this podcast, there's a different level to it, right? So the buck literally stops with you. So there's no space and no time for you to be like, I'm not going to pick up this phone, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's your client, that's your everything. The buck truly stops with you. At the same point in time, that comes with an added level of pressure and a big one, because what do you do when the quote unquote leads are bad, right? You're the source of these. So in order for everything to flow, it stops with you. When you're going from now the first couple of months to year 2 years in, what type of growth are you experiencing as a company, and then also personally and mindset wise? Is your eye opening? Oh, okay, I can do this now. Boom, boom, boom. Putting things in place where previously that might have not been your role.
Yeah, so it was steady growth, and I'm thankful for that because we have an incredible reputation in the industry, and it's been growth organically. We're 100% referral based business, so all the business that comes to us is referred by CPAs, financial planners, real estate agents, and that has allowed us to have the slow growth. You grow too fast, and if you have cracks in your foundation, you're not going to be able to keep up with the flood of volume coming through the door, and you're going to do a mediocre job, and you're going to get a bad rep in the industry. And
Yeah.
so that was my preferred method of growth, and we still continue just slow and steady growth. We continue adding team members and continue to build out the process, and so yeah, that's been our strategy, is slow and sustained growth.
In real estate investing, people talk a lot about lead funnels and where they're finding deals from. I don't really know anything about how people are acquiring clients typically in the mortgage space and the lending space. Is it a lot of pay per click, that type of funnel? Is it a lot of referral? Is it a fair mix of both? How are you finding your customers and clients?
Yeah, there's two methods in mortgage lending. It's one, lead gen, where you're going out and you're buying leads and then calling on them, and the other is referral based, so you're being referred business. And we're doing the referral base, but both business models work. The differences are the conversion rate. You need to speak with 50 leads in order to get one that's qualified or interested to work with you. Versus, when we have somebody referred to us, we're going to bring them to close. It's very rare that we don't,
Yeah.
because there's already an established relationship. They trust us, and so it's the preferred model. We're just not set up. We don't have a call center, and we're not taking in hundreds of leads a day and then cold calling on them. We're just not set up for that, and it's not a business that I was interested in.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic of discussion for me because my day-to-day outside of here is I'm a wholesaler, right? And so I do a lot of cold calling, but I've also spoken, and I'm also a real estate agent in Texas. I've spoken with people who have 30 funnels, 30 ways that they're reaching out to people. I spoke with one gentleman talking about how he finds distressed real estate. He partners with trash and junk removal companies. And then when these people are getting their junk removed, and if they mention, hey, we're leaving the home, we don't have anybody to take over the home, this junk removal company then sends that information with, of course, their permission to this investor. And at which point he can either wholesale it out, assign the deal, or take the deal down himself. And I've been curious about this for a while now, but specifically now that I'm hosting this podcast, I run into these unique funnels, whether it's that with the junk removal. I've run into people who specify or who've drilled down into land wholesaling and how they're generating leads that way. But it's a different process for every avenue. And it sounds like in mortgages, it's not so much of that, but more of nurturing a network and then creating a brand and a reputation where people seek you out based on the referrals from other folks who've had a good experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's thousands of different models for lead gen inside the referral based model. And yeah, there's all kinds of uh, strategies that we deploy to help build value in the community so that we can continue to bring in new business. But something that it was that I observe a lot in your field is there's all kinds of lead gen activity that happens, and then you're doing all the work, and it slows down, and then lead gen, you get a bunch of
Yeah.
work, and it slows down. And I observed that in my own business, and it wasn't until I started hiring around me that the real growth started to happen. And so somebody to take over the calendar and email and phone calls, and then someone to handle production and fulfillment, and then marketing, and then sales. And at the sales point, you start to remove yourself. But once you create that flywheel, I mean, watch out, right? Sky's the limit.
So yeah, the sky truly is the limit. And I forget exactly the number, but I want to say it's 8.1 to 12 contacts in a lot of these sales cycles that people have to be spoken with before they're able to come to a decision. And so I think the mistake that is certainly made by a lot of people who do what I do in real estate wholesale is they think, oh, it's a dead lead. I'm not going to discuss this with my team or with them any further, but that could be a hot lead a year and a half from now. It's just, how are you going to hang on that long? And for certainly, it sounds like in lending, people could be deciding whether they're going to make a purchase. They lots of different life circumstances could come up. So I can imagine you're seeing a lot of that too, and the heightened importance of that sustained follow up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very similar, I suppose. Yeah. And not just follow up during the transaction, but after the transaction. We're really big on staying in touch with our clients. It's loans under management, we call it. And so we're touching base. We're watching all of their loans, and anytime we can save them money, we're contacting them. But there's also life events that come up that we need to be in contact with them for, and know that they can come to us if they experience these life events in the future. And so they're very, very similar, yeah, strategies that are used in both. And for wholesaling, so you do wholesaling. I think the version that I understand of wholesaling is contacting the consumer that may be interested in selling their home and securing a contract to sell for, let's say, $500,000. And then
Yep.
going and selling that contract to somebody else for, let's say, 550,000, and then you take the spread difference, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah, you place an executory period on the contract, or you already have a buyer in mind, and then during that executory or that option period, you then assign your purchaser rights to the year-end buyer. You remove yourself effectively from the transaction, and then the end buyer effectively pays you in a way, because you're getting the spread between whatever you got the property under contract for and whatever you bring the end buyer. Now, some people will say, well, why wouldn't the end buyer just go straight to the seller? Well, they had to find the seller, and you have the contract, which can happen. And specifically, I've been told if you do these commercial deals, they will find a way to go around the wholesaler no matter what, because the deal's just so big, right? I spoke with a guy yesterday or the day before, who I believe he's in California as well. He had a deal come across his desk where there was going to be a $1 million assignment fee to a commercial wholesaler. And he's like, that's just too much. So he basically dropped his offer price down to a certain amount and was going to pay the wholesaler $800,000 for a commercial assignment. And the wholesaler said, I'm going to pass on that. I actually have an offer at the amount that I was asking for within $1 million assignment on this commercial deal. And the guy ended up losing the deal. Now, I'm nowhere near at that level. But in the long and short of it, that's the wholesale game. Pivoting here, Shawn, Mortgage Maker AI. Mortgage Maker AI. Super interesting name. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So a few years ago, I was disappointed by the tools that were available to mortgage lenders in the industry, and I set out to build our own. And so we are a loan presentation software. And so a mortgage loan officer uses Mortgage Maker to build customized loan presentations to present loan options to their borrowers, but also to educate them on what it means to purchase the home, long-term investment numbers, income tax savings on the purchase, break-even point on paying points, rent versus own. There's so much built into it. And also we've built it with a ton of data. And so the loan officer is able to plug in a report, or the consumer, and all the data they need to make a decision automatically loads in. So it's extremely a powerful tool, and yeah, very proud of what we've built.
Wow, how long has this been a project for? How long have you been doing this?
About 3 years.
Okay. Wow. So where can people go to take advantage of Mortgage Maker?
For Mortgage Maker, it's mortgagemaker.ai.
Okay, that's simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think these tools we're going to see an abundance of them. I was just talking with another gentleman about a wearable device that records conversations and then puts it into a mind map. And there's one that goes with your phone. There's one that you can kind of go around your neck or on your wrist. And then it also it's compatible with ChatGPT, so you can download conversation. And we were just batting back and forth, like, what's the use case of this other than just you don't have to take notes any longer? And there was so many different things that we came up with. So I'm imagining you're seeing this in Mortgage Maker as well. There may have been an initial, hey, this is what we're going to use this for, right? Presentations. But then you're saying, well, actually, it can do all these different things, and it's expanding even to ways that we didn't see initially. This is, really the sky's the limit.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny. I read a quote recently to be careful, what you set out building, because you can optimize to infinity. And it
Yeah.
is so true, right? We have a roadmap that's miles long for what we intend to build the product into. And you want to make sure that you're pointed in the right direction before you set off on your path, because you can optimize to infinity.
I certainly think that's true with AI. I certainly think. And Mortgage Maker, I'm in Texas. Is that available to folks in Texas right now?
It is, yeah. Mortgage Makers nationwide.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Shawn, we are coming up on time here. Where can folks go to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so C lending, so C as in Charlie, lendinggroup.com is our website for California Lending Group. We are a mortgage lender based in Southern California. And then mortgagemaker.ai, and then social channels, we've got california.lending.group, and then same for Mortgage Maker. Our handles are our business names.
Shawn, thank you so much for coming on the show. Gave folks lots of value, and I had no idea, but now I do know. AI is everywhere. Shawn, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dylan. Take care.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.